All right, fifth grade. So today for social studies, we've been talking about the American Revolution, this war that's happening. I did want to stop today, pause, and just kind of talk about a very, very important person that was part of this time. His name is Alexander Hamilton. And so today what's going to be happening is I'm going to post a few videos. You can see this video is number one. This is the one where I'm talking. Number two, a little video that I want you to watch about, just tells you a little bit about Alexander Hamilton from Brain Pop. Just kind of tells you about why he was so important. It's fun. It's kind of like a cartoon. And then this one is the theme song for Hamilton, the musical. Sorry, the musical. And that is, it's fun to listen to. And I do like just the song in general, but it does have a lot of information about him as well. Okay. Next, I'm going to read this kind of this little biography of Alexander Hamilton. Okay. And then what you are going to do on your own is answer these questions on the last page. Okay. You can use these videos up here to help you answer the questions and the things that we read. Okay. If you do not want to hear me read, you can pause this video and just move on and try to read it yourself. If you want to follow along while I'm reading, that would be best. All right, so here we go. Alexander Hamilton, founding father. Alexander Hamilton was considered by many to be one of the most powerful and influential founding fathers of the country, all right, our country, the United States of America. He was known to be a genius in many areas, including mathematics and economics. Hamilton was born on a Caribbean island in 1755. His mother was unmarried at the time of his birth. That was considered a sin, and he was not allowed to attend any of the Christian schools. His father abandoned the family when Alexander was 10. At 13, his mother died. His cousin took care of him for a while, but died tragically, and Alexander was left alone. So kind of sad. He had a very tragic beginning of his life. Instead of letting the tragedies destroy him, Hamilton became tougher and more motivated. He was very intelligent, and he knew he could make it on his own. He read many books, which included stories of great heroes and statesmen who built the Roman Empire. These stories inspired Hamilton. He wanted to also be a hero and achieve greatness. At age 14, Hamilton got a job on the island as a clerk. He had to learn about money and trade. It was evident that he was a mathematical genius. When his boss became sick, young Hamilton ran the entire company. People of the island took notice, and they raised money for him to go to America to attend school. So people of his community thought that, wow, he is a very, very intelligent person. Excuse me. And we should get him money to go to school in America. Because remember, he was living on a Caribbean island. Okay. At age 17, Hamilton attended King University, New York. At that time, the colonies were struggling with British taxes and laws. Although most people wanted to avoid a conflict with England, Hamilton felt they should earn their freedom through war. He felt war was a great way to become a hero and achieve greatness. He began writing articles in support of freedom and independence from England, even if that meant war. He also led a military group and made grand speeches. He commanded respect, and the people listened to his wisdom. All right, so people really listened to him. They thought he was wise, which is interesting because he's only 17 years old, right? He must be a very strong person to have that much wisdom at 17 years old. Right? In 1775, the Revolutionary War began, right? That's what we're talking about right now. And Hamilton soon joined the ranks. At first, he was just a clerk in the army, but it wasn't long before his genius and leadership abilities were noticed. He moved up the ranks and became an advisor to General George Washington. We know him, right? He led the key battle at Yorktown to victory. Not only was Washington amazed at Hamilton's fearless and aggressive war tactics, but he was also impressed with his ideas on government. Okay. Page 2. After the war, Hamilton studied law and became a talented lawyer in New York City. He also continued his interest in politics. He noticed how the individual states were divided and in conflict. So they're kind of fighting back and forth. He wanted to bring the country together, which he thought was especially important after winning the war. Hamilton was elected a member of the Confederation Congress, the governing body set up to try to make independence work. Hamilton felt it was not working well enough. The states were still in conflict. Hamilton believed the answer was a very strong central government to bring the states together. He wrote many papers that promoted the importance of a strong government. They were later known as the Federalist Papers. Although Hamilton didn't help write the Constitution of the U.S., he worked tirelessly, speaking and writing papers to convince people it should be ratified. Okay? Ratified means made into law. George Washington was elected President of the United States in 1789. He surrounded himself with the best thinkers and policymakers he could find. He appointed Thomas Jefferson as the Secretary of State and Alexander Hamilton as the Secretary of the Treasury. All right, so we talked a couple weeks ago about how Alexander Hamilton kind of oversaw. He was the person who was in charge of the money of our country. Okay. Most states owed a lot of money because of war debts. Hamilton proposed a plan for the central government to take all the debts of the states. He felt that those wealthy people to whom the states owed money would want the government to succeed. They would invest in the new government. Hamilton believed that by taking on debt, he would actually strengthen the central government. Many citizens of the states didn't like this idea, including Thomas Jefferson. But Hamilton made a deal with him. Hamilton agreed to move the government capital out of New York City and to the country, as Jefferson wanted. If Jefferson would support and promote his debt and money ideas, the compromise was made and each got something they wanted. Hamilton's vision of the United States allowed it to become a trading and economic power of the world. It shifted from just a farming and plantation country to one of the great industry and manufacturing. Some people didn't like that change. They thought the United States was turning into another England with a central government that was too powerful and a leader much like a king. Right? They don't want kings because they just got rid of the king. Many people liked the vision of Thomas Jefferson, who wanted a farming country with a weak central government and the freedom of individual states. These two completely different ideas started the two-party political system, which continues in our government even today. Right? We have two political parties that are really in charge, right? Republicans and Democrats. Kind of started back here. All right, last paragraph here. Whether you agree with Alexander Hamilton's ideas or not, there's no question that he is one of the most gifted revolutionaries and economic leaders. He ranks as one of the most well-known founding fathers in our nation's history. He truly achieved his goal of being a great statesman. The United States of today is due in large part to the policies that were designed and put in place by Alexander Hamilton. So, a lot of the things that are going on in our country now, a lot of the ways that we do things, are because of Alexander Hamilton's decisions. Okay, so you will go ahead and answer these questions here. Before that, though, I do want to add a picture to this slide here. Okay, so let me go over here to Alexander Hamilton. All right, some images here. So Alexander Hamilton, these are the pictures. He was born in a Caribbean island, I believe. The Caribbean island that he was born was St. Kitts and Nevis. So you can see Charlestown, St. Kitts and Nevis. I wonder if there's like a memorial for him. Don't see anything, but if I zoom back out of here, you can kind of see where he was born. Okay. Kind of by Puerto Rico a little bit. Kind of close to the Dominican Republic, by Cuba. And then here's Florida down here, so here's the United States. He was born here. Okay. Let's go back and see if we can find a picture. So you can find a picture that is a painting of him. You can find a picture from the musical, too, Alexander Hamilton. He is played by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is an actor. He also wrote the soundtrack to Moana. He's a very, very famous guy. He's a very famous actor. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture from... Oops, did not mean to do that. I'm just going to take a picture from the musical. Copy image. You can take any picture that you would like. Alright, I'm going to put it right here. You can put it in the middle of the page. You can put it over here on top. Doesn't matter. But otherwise, the last thing for you to do today is listen to... Excuse me. you did just listen to me read. You're going to answer the questions now, okay? Any questions, ask Miss V.